Then here's two finger. Yeah, I think this is two finger poi, guys. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Poi is pounded taro root that's had water added to it and fermented. This is a Hawaiian staple food, and you typically eat it kind of like you would eat rice. So there's typically two types. You've got fresh poi, aka sweet poi, because it hasn't been fermented. There's also sour poi, which has been fermented for about a few days. So today we're gonna be making sweet poi. So making poi is a very old and sacred tradition in Hawaii. There's a special way to do it, a special technique, and you use special equipment. So to be clear, I am not gonna be making it the traditional way at all. I'm gonna be making it here in my kitchen with the tools and equipment that I have. So to make poi, you're gonna need taro root. So here I have like 6, but I think this counts as like 2, so like 7. By the way, you can check the description below for the measurements and ingredients. And make sure you wash the taro before you use it because it's pretty dusty. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna boil the taro in a pot of water. Okay, here's water that I boiled in a kettle. Be careful! Oh my gosh. The best thing to do is like add a little bit of water at the bottom and then pour in the boiling water. It wouldn't splatter as much. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add the taro root. Just make sure they're fully submerged in the water. Now we're just gonna let this boil until the taro gets soft enough that you can pierce a fork through it easily. This will probably only take like maybe 15 to 20 minutes. This one. Yay! Okay, it's been 20 minutes. I'm gonna poke it with a fork, and it goes through really easily. So this is ready. I'm gonna take these out and then we're gonna peel it and chop it up. Okay, so you could wait for this to cool down before peeling it, but I am impatient, so I'm just gonna use this fork and this knife. And like it kind of comes off really easily. So, you know, you don't have to like really cut into it. You can just kind of scrape it and then it'll come off. So it's a lot faster if I just like use my fingers, but it's kind of hot. So you might want to wait for this to cool down just a little bit. But like I said, I'm impatient. Okay, so I'm just chopping these into smaller pieces so that they can be a lot easier to mash up with whatever tool you decide to use. So in the Philippines, we call taro gabe. And we usually put it, well, I've usually seen it in like stews, like sinigang. So if we're having like a pork sinigang or like a guava-based sinigang, so a little bit thicker and richer, I've seen taro, aka gabe, put in there. Now it's time to mash up our taro. So poi is traditionally created by mashing taro on kind of like a large wooden board and then a large handheld stone. But at home, you have a few options. So you could use a food processor, you could use a blender, I've seen people do it with a blender, or you can also use a mixer. So I'm gonna be using this KitchenAid mixer, and I'm gonna be using the paddle attachment. The paddle attachment kinda will simulate the whole mashing technique. So now we're just gonna add a little bit at a time. Ooh, okay, let's look at the texture. Ooh. So this, at this form right now, is called pa'i'ai. So it's very thick. It's just the taro that's been pounded. We can go ahead and add a little bit more, and then we're gonna just continue beating it until it gets really, really smooth. So if you want, you can add some more taro while the mixer is running. Okay, now we can turn it up so we can smooth out any more taro lumps. All right, so just make sure to scrape the sides so that we can get any of the lumps that are on the side. So imagine how long this takes when people actually pound the poi by hand. It kind of takes forever. Using a blender or food processor would make the whole thing a lot easier. But it's kind of fun just like watching the whole process, pounding it with the mixer. All right, so here I have some water. Let's just add like a tablespoon for now. And then we're gonna mix it again. So we're just gonna continue adding it until we get the desired consistency. All right. Okay, so here's another thing to know. The thickness of poi is classified by how many fingers it takes for you to successfully scoop it up and eat it with your fingers. So at this point, because it's so thick, this would still be classified as 1 finger poi, because I could go like this and then eat the poi straight off of my finger. We're going to keep adding water until we get to 2 finger poi, and we're gonna test it with our fingers. Okay, so I really actually like this 1 finger poi, so I'm gonna save some and then I'm gonna add some more water so we can have 2 finger poi, so I can have both. My goodness, oh, this is so luscious. There's still a little bit of lumps in here, but that's fine. I'm sure if I just keep this beating for like a few more minutes, it's gonna get super, super smooth, but I am so impatient. They do take a lot of time to pound it down to get that smooth consistency. So I'm gonna save this, set this aside. Wait, I think this is 2 finger poi. Wait, how can I tell? This might be 3 finger poi. I know there are still like a little bit of lumps, and if you want, if you're like nitpicky about it, run it through a blender and it should smoothen right out. Here's 1 finger. Then here's 2 finger. Yeah, I think this is 2 finger poi, guys. I don't know, what do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Okay, now it's time to store it or serve it. So I'm gonna do both. So first we're going to store it and I'm gonna show you how. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it in this airtight glass container. Just gonna pour it in here. And I'm gonna save a little bit so that I can show you guys how to eat it. Okay, so how you properly store poi. So Doug's Auntie Annie, she told me that if they didn't finish their poi, they would add a layer of water on top and then store it in the refrigerator. So I looked it up and apparently this is to prevent a crust from forming on the top. So we're just gonna add more water on top of the poi. And then cover it up. Okay, and then Auntie Annie also says that when you're ready to eat it again, you just mix the water back in. Okay, so if you want to keep this fresh poi or sweet poi, then you can stick this in the fridge, or if you want to turn this into sour poi, you can ferment it out in room temperature for a few days. If you're in a hotter environment, it's going to ferment a lot faster. So for this one, I think I'll stick this one in the fridge. Okay, so this was the 1 finger poi that I saved earlier. So to store this one, I'm also gonna add a layer of water on top. Cover it with plastic wrap. Great, and then I'm gonna keep this in room temperature for maybe like 2 to 4 days and then check on it and it should turn into sour poi. Yay! I'm so excited. Now it's time to eat. So I'm gonna put some poi in this bowl and then I'm gonna go ahead and heat up some barbecue that we have. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So now I can like officially eat this poi. I like to eat it with savory dishes. So for example, I like having sour poi with kalua pig, which is like pretty salty, or squid luau, which is squid simmered in taro leaves and coconut milk. It's so good. It's similar to Filipino laing. It's like basically the same dish. So to eat our fresh poi today, I have this barbecue that we had. It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's just gonna go so well with this poi. I just heated it up. Yum! I'll just put this in the poi and then fish it out. Yum, 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 yum. And I bet you this tastes even better after the poi starts to ferment and you get sour poi with this barbecue. Oh my gosh, so good. So I hope you guys try this at home. If you do try making poi at home, let me know in the comments below. what equipment you decided to use. And also, what do you like to enjoy poi with? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell right next to it. And I hope you try this at home. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye! Doug, you wanna try?